Have you ever wondered if there's one single fruit out there that carries more power than the rest? A fruit so packed with nutrients that it almost feels unfair compared to all the others. Most of us grew up hearing that apples keep the doctor away, that oranges are the best source of vitamin C, or that bananas are the go-to for potassium. But what if I told you that there is one fruit that outshines them all? A fruit that quietly sits on grocery shelves while most people pass it by, not realizing it could change their health, their energy, and even the way they age. Let me ask you this. If you could choose just one fruit to eat every single day, one fruit that would give you the maximum return for your health, wouldn't you want to know what it is? This isn't hype, and it's not another trendy superfood fad. What I'm about to share with you is backed by science, but more importantly, it's something I've tested and seen the difference it can make. Especially for people like us who are past 50 and want to live with more vitality, sharper minds, and stronger bodies. So, let's dig into the truth. When you hit your 50s and beyond, your body starts to change in ways you never imagined in your younger years. Energy doesn't come as easily. Aches and pains become more common. Sometimes it feels like your digestion has a mind of its own. On top of that, we're constantly bombarded with warnings. Avoid too much sugar. Watch your cholesterol. Protect your heart. Lower inflammation. And fruit, which is supposed to be healthy, sometimes gets caught in the middle of this debate. Some people even fear fruit because of its natural sugars. But here's the reality. Not all fruits are created equal. Some are heavy in sugar and light in nutrients, while others are absolute powerhouses, carrying not just vitamins but compounds that fight inflammation, support the brain, protect the heart, and even help you manage your weight. And among them, there's one fruit that consistently ranks at the top of every scientific measure of nutrient density. Can you guess what it is? It's the humble blueberry. Yes, that tiny, round, dark blue fruit you might sprinkle on your morning cereal or see mixed into muffins is in fact the fruit with the most nutrients per calorie. And it's been studied more than almost any other fruit when it comes to aging and long-term health. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, I've heard blueberries are healthy, let me pause and tell you, you probably haven't heard the full story. Because blueberries are not just another fruit. They are one of nature's most concentrated sources of antioxidants, specifically anthocyanins, which give them their deep, rich color. These antioxidants don't just sit in your body. They actively fight the free radicals that cause cellular damage. And if you've ever wondered why some people age gracefully with clearer skin, better memory, and less chronic disease, while others seem to decline faster, a lot of that has to do with how well their bodies handle oxidative stress. Blueberries are like little soldiers defending your cells every single time you eat them. When I first started adding blueberries into my daily routine, I didn't expect much. I thought, sure, they're tasty, but can a handful of fruit really make that much difference? Within a few weeks, I noticed subtle but undeniable changes. My digestion felt smoother. I wasn't as sluggish in the afternoon, and even my sleep seemed deeper. Later, I came across research that confirmed what I was experiencing. Studies have shown that blueberries can improve insulin sensitivity, help regulate blood sugar, and even lower blood pressure. For people over 50 who are at greater risk of developing type 2 diabetes and heart disease, is nothing short of life-changing. Think about it. A fruit that tastes sweet requires no preparation, and yet acts like a natural medicine for your heart, your brain, and your metabolism. And speaking of the brain, this is where blueberries really shine. One of the biggest fears many of us carry as we age is losing our memory. We're feeling names or feeling like our mind just isn't as sharp as it used to be. Blueberries contain compounds that literally cross the blood-brain barrier and help improve communication between brain cells. Some studies even suggest that older adults who eat blueberries regularly perform better on memory tests, show delayed cognitive decline. Imagine protecting your memory not with another pill or supplement, but simply by enjoying a small bowl of blueberries a few times a week. Isn't that remarkable? But let's step back for a moment and think bigger. It's not just about the blueberries themselves, but what they represent. They remind us that sometimes the most powerful solutions are not found in complicated diets or expensive supplements, but in simple natural foods that have been around for centuries. And for those of us navigating life after 50, when we want both energy and peace of mind, these small choices add up. If you're watching this and nodding along because you've felt the struggle of slowing metabolism, creeping weight gain, or the frustration of eating healthy but not seeing results, I want to encourage you. Sometimes it's not about eating less, but about eating smarter. Adding the right foods in foods, like blueberries, can crowd out the less helpful ones and naturally guide your body back into balance. Now, let's get practical. How do you actually make blueberries part of your life in a way that sticks? You don't have to overcomplicate it. Toss them into your morning oatmeal, blend them into a smoothie, mix them with yogurt, or even eat them by the handful as a snack. If fresh blueberries feel too expensive or are out of season, frozen ones are just as powerful. In fact, research shows that freezing doesn't significantly reduce their antioxidant levels, which means you can stock up and use them year-round. Personally, I love keeping a bag of frozen blueberries in my freezer and tossing a scoop into my glass of water in the afternoon. Not only does it give me a refreshing drink, but it also sneaks in those antioxidants without me even thinking about it. Of course, some people ask me, but what about the sugar in blueberries? And here's the thing. Blueberries are relatively low in sugar compared to many other fruits. A cup of blueberries has about 80 calories and 15 grams of natural sugar. But it also delivers fiber, which slows down absorption, and dozens of phytonutrients that actually help balance your blood sugar. Contrast that with drinking a can of soda, which has more sugar and zero fiber, and the difference is night and day. So don't let the fear of sugar stop you from embracing this fruit. Nature designed it perfectly for the human body. If you've been struggling with cholesterol, blueberries can help there too. Research indicates that eating them regularly can raise HDL, the so-called good cholesterol, while lowering LDL, the bad kind that clogs arteries. And when you combine blueberries with other nutrient-dense foods like leafy greens, nuts, and whole grains, you create a powerhouse diet that doesn't just manage health issues, but actively reverses them. And this is where I want to pause and ask you, what's one small change you could commit to today? Maybe it's swapping out that sugary dessert for a bowl of blueberries. Maybe it's replacing one processed snack with a smoothie. Share it with me in the comments below, because when you speak it out loud, you make it real, and you inspire others along the way too. Now, I can already hear some of you saying, but I don't really like blueberries, and that's fair. Taste is personal. The good news is that while blueberries top the chart, there are other nutrient-rich berries like blackberries, raspberries, and strawberries that share many of the same benefits. They all belong to the same family of antioxidant-rich fruits. And rotating them keeps things exciting while still giving your body the same kind of protection. The key is not perfection. It's consistency. Making nutrient-dense fruits a normal part of your life will create ripple effects that surprise you years down the line. The beauty of this journey is that it's not just about physical health. It's about emotional health too. There's something almost childlike about eating berries, something that reminds us of summer days, of nature's sweetness, of joy. And joy is medicine too. I've spoken to countless people who, after making small dietary shifts, not only felt better physically, but also felt more empowered, more hopeful, more alive. And that's the real gift. Because eating well isn't just about living longer, it's about living better. So let's circle back to the question we started with. If you had to choose one fruit with the most nutrients, what would it be? Now you know the answer, it's the blueberry. But the twist is this. It's not just about one fruit. It's about the lesson it teaches us. That in the simplest, most accessible foods, we can find the keys to energy, resilience, and joy, especially in the second half of life. The blueberry is a symbol, a reminder that health doesn't have to be complicated, and that every bite is a chance to nourish not just your body, but your future. If you found this inspiring, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because I'll be sharing more stories and insights like this practical, powerful tools to help you thrive after 50 and before you go. Let me leave you with this thought. Aging is inevitable, but how you age is largely in your hands. You can choose decline, or you can choose vitality. And sometimes, that choice begins with something as small as a handful of blueberries.